A new one. Yes. Now, let's start the proper Shiur now. Amud Yomi, welcome to everybody here in our Amud Yomi Shiur. We are in Chaf Tes Amud Aleph Kiddushin Lemuloi Minolan. How do you know that a father is supposed to perform Bris Milah or send someone to do Bris Milah on his son? How do you know? Dichtiv, it says, Vayomal Avrom es Yitzchak benoi. It says Avrom Avinu, yeah, he did Bris Milah for his son Yitzchak. So you see, the father of Avram, he's the one who is committed to do the Bris Milah. He's commanded to do the Bris Milah. And what does it say at the end of the pasuk? Kasher tzivo oisoi Elokim. It says, as Hashem was mitzvah him. Okay, Hashem was mitzvah Avram to do the Bris Milah, to perform Bris Milah on Yitzchak. Clearly, that tzivui is not only then, it's forever, as we're going to see later. Let's say the father did not do Bris Milah to the son. The question is why. We're going to see an interesting case I'll tell you later. The father did not do Bris Milah. The father's not around. The father's in Chutz La'aretz. The father, for whichever reason, the father did not perform the Bris Milah. Then Beis Din, representing the Jewish people, Beis Din are the ones who have their communal responsibility as Beis Din to bring the moel and get a moel to do Bris Milah on that poor child whose father did not do Bris Milah. How do you know that? It says, Himoil lochem kol zocho. Himoil lochem kol zocho. That's another pasuk. En zocho himol lochem. Lochem in plural, in general. You, the Jewish nation, you, lochem, in general, in plural, you have to make sure that every Jewish boy gets Bris Milah. Now, I want to tell you something interesting now. A case that's brought down in halacha. Yesh Shulchan Aruch says, what happens if the father says, I want to do Bris Milah to my son, I don't have money, and the moyel is insisting on taking money. So first of all, it says it's really nasty and bad. A moyel should not insist on receiving money. I'm not pasking la'alocha. I don't know about milah and money, but lamaisa it says that if the father has no money, the moyel has to do it for free. I mean, again, I'm not opposed to it, so it sounds like from what I saw this morning in halacha. And let's say there's a case in which the father says, I don't have money. I don't have that, 800 shekels you're charging, let's say. Shows 8, yeah, Bris Milah. And the moel says, 800 shekel, not 1 penny less. So what do? So Beis Din can force the moel to do Bris Milah. Beis Din are now the ones who are going to tell the moel, listen, mister, you have to do the Bris Milah or else. Says the Rabbi Yaakov Me'emdin, I saw that also in the Pesach, he says, Rabbi Yaakov Me'emdin says, they can trick the moel. The moel is being very nasty. We're upset with him because he should do the Bris Milah for free. The person has no money. You want the baby to grow up without Bris Milah. So therefore, you promise him money and you don't pay him. You're allowed to do that. Yeah. With an action, you have to be in action. He's not Beseder. And therefore, Beis Din can say, okay, we'll take care of it. We'll pay your 800. And then they don't. Why? Because he should learn his lesson and the boy should have Bris Milah, and it's a chrais of Beis Din. These cases are brought down in halacha. So let's say if for whichever reason Beis Din did not take care of him, like today, not today, like in the communist Russia, yeah, which Beis Din? There is no Beis Din. Nobody was allowed to do anything. He didn't have Bris Milah. The father didn't do it. The Beis Din didn't do it for whichever reason. I don't know why. There was no Beis Din. Was in Siberia. So what do you want? Once he grows up, once he becomes 13 years old, he has his own chiyuv to do Bris Milah to himself. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that should be done physically. He has a responsibility as an adult. As an adult, he has a responsibility to actually make sure, get in touch with the moyel. Happens to Baalei Tshuva. I've heard also of American Baalei Tshuva. The Bris Milah wasn't done exactly la'alocha. Once it became frum, they took care of the hatofa, of the extra stage you have to do. And yes, you have to make sure that you have Bris Milah. It is your own responsibility. You can't always blame your parents. No, not everything is like modern psychology. Again, my parents didn't do Bris Milah, so that's the way I am. No. You have to do your own Bris Milah, obviously via proxy, and make sure it happens. How do you know? How do you know that's true? First wide line. Dichtiv orel zocher shelimol is b'sar olo soy. Look at the words. Orel zocher asheloimol, which does not perform milah b'sar or losoy. If it does not circumcise his own b'sar or losoy, his own flesh or losoy of his orlo, of his foreskin, venichreso. Wow. So the Isser is an Isser chorus. I don't know if everybody knows. The Isser chorus or Bris Milah and Pesach are the only two mitzvahs asay that if you do not commit those mitzvahs asay, you get chorus. All the other krisus, 36 krisus, most of them are mitzvahs lo taseh, right? But mitzvahs asay, which you avoided, which we refrained from doing mitzvahs asay, one of the two is the Bris Milah. It's not on the father. Funnily enough, it's on the son, which means if the son did not do Bris Milah, knowing that he's supposed to, he pushed it for next week, the entire life. Not a very pleasant thing to have Bris Milah as an adult. Then he gets chorus. He will get the chorus. Yes, I like the pun. He doesn't want to do a chorus on the body. He'll get chorus for life, afterlife. Right. Better to do this chorus. The son gets chorus. The person himself gets chorus if he did not take care of his own milah. 100%. And I just checked it again in Shulchan Aruch. That's why it says Bris Milah is the most important mitzvah in that respect. That the person, the mitzvah, that's what the father has to make sure his son does have Bris Milah to avoid chorus from the child. Besides the fact he's not fully Jewish, now, so that's what we know. So it's the father, if not the father, Beis Din. If not Beis Din, once grown up, already at age of 13. The age of 13 already, he's mechuyev to the 13 years old boy realizes he has to do Bris Milah, then he has to do Bris Milah. He has to do it himself. Maybe he can ask his father to arrange it. I don't know, the family relationship. But the commitment is his own, the person himself. Otherwise, he gets chorus. Now, where's the mother in this story? Or he has a goyish father. That's true. Actually, I heard a case in London. There was a woman, she married a goy, and she still wanted Bris Milah for this child, and she called him on. Her husband was a goy. The son is obviously Jewish, and she called him on. Somebody from London told me it happened there. So she called a moil to do Bris Milah on the son. The son's Jewish. She's right. I mean, she's not right for marrying a goy, You know where she met the goy? When she was studying for biotechnology, whatever, that she met a nice guy in university. They had a child, Baruch Hashem, she had Bris Milah. What? Of course. Right? What? A nice guy who's a guy. But how do you know? It's very nice the mother did it, but how do you know that she's not committed to do Bris Milah to her son? How do you know that a woman, and that's, by the way, the halacha, the mother, she does not have the obligation to have Bris Milah on the boy. It makes sense she would. She's a good Jewish woman, and the father's not around. But she's halachically, don't get into emotional stuff over here. No emotions, please. But halachically, the woman, the mother, has no obligation to do Bris Milah on the son. Nafkamina, maybe she can't create shlichus by sending a moil. She can ask the moil to come, but he won't be her shliach. Halachically, she has no obligation to make sure her son is gemalid. Obviously, it's a very, very good thing, to avoid chorus. She has no halachic, clear, straight obligation from the mother to do Bris Milah on the son. How do you know? It says in the same pasuk about Avram Avinu, the first one, the first moihel in the world, Avram Avinu, kasher tzivo oisoi Elokim, as Hashem commanded him, oisoi v'loi oiso, Hashem commanded him, and not Sarah. Avram was the one performed. Sarah was a very central person in the family there, right? And yet Sarah, being a woman, she's not obligated. She's absolved of that. She doesn't have to make sure that the son has Bris Milah. Yes. I was wondering about Tzipora. I remember you meant Tzipora. I apologize. I looked a little bit today and I didn't find, there is a question, Tzipora did Bris Milah to her son. Right. Oh, it looks like Bishas Chag Tzipora did the Bris Milah. So as far as I remember, Bris Milah has two parts. There in the Lomdus of Bris Milah, you always hear the young father talks to all the people about Bris Milah, the Suda of the Bris Milah. As far as I know, and this is really off the cuff, this is not certified what I'm telling you now. What Tzipora did was, Lomdus, it wasn't Bris Milah, it's to avoid him being an oral. There are two parts of Bris Milah. There's the active mitzvah to say of Bris Milah, that's the father of the Beis Din, and there's also the son not having the orla, not having the foreskin, the son, the result. That she managed to do. Even though, in other words, if brachas existed, she didn't make the bracha. It wasn't a mitzvah that she committed, that she performed, I am mal the child. I'm just making sure to remove the cherpa, to remove the orla, to clean away the dirt called foreskin, called orla. For that, why not? A woman could do that too. But Lamaisa, it wasn't a proper Bris Milah. In other words, could be afterwards Moshe Rabbeinu again did hatafa, like today. Let's say a person had Bris Milah in a hospital in America, right? By a Goyish doctor. They remove, or in England, right? The royal family, they do that. Yes. A moil. Oh, even better. In England, a moil, but they're not Jewish. By a rabbi? It's circumcised by a rabbi.
Diana stopped. Because the guy that than me did Prince Charles.
We're sitting in a room with a person that's a big schus for Prince Charles, that he had Bris Milah done by the same person as a choshev, a member of the Shiur. The schus is Charles, not yours. Okay, very good. I wish Charles was a little bit better, like try to aspire to where you are. The kids are the woman who does the Bris Milah, as far as I know, she's not mekayim the mitzvah. Elamai, the boy has no cherpa, no orla. Orla is something that upsets a Kodesh Baruch Hu, if it's in a Jewish person. So Mimela, the snake left Moshe alone. As far as I know, that's the answer. I don't remember who says that, but that's what I think. Art school? No, did that? Oh, no, fine. Okay. Thank you. I think that's the answer. Maybe Abdurrabba, let's look for other answers. Ashkechan, frek the Gemara. Ashkechan miyad. In other words, all that we found is miyad, meaning, what's miyad? Immediately, meaning the tzivui regarding Avraham Avinu was an Avraham, not Sarah, right? That's all we know. Ledoirois minolan. How do you know that the same tzivui applies for generations? Which means, let me just clarify that. Let me ask you a question. Pesach in Beis HaMikdash, riddle, quiz. You get a trip to Switzerland if you answer. I wish. Yeah. What happens? Pesach in Beis HaMikdash and Pesach of Mitzrayim, were they exactly the same? All the halachas were exactly the same or not? The first Pesach, which is celebrated in Mitzrayim, in the actual night of Exodus, is it exactly the Pesach of all the generations? No, there are a few differences. Yeah, you don't have to wear your shoes and your belt, the chipozo, and all kinds of details with the blood. You don't have to put blood on the doorpost nowadays, 2024. Only back then. Oh, not everything written in the Torah as a local, a specific tzivui always applies for future generations. Many mitzvahs do, some don't. So when I see Kodesh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu, do Bris Milah for your son, maybe there was a tzivui for Avraham Avinu. Hashem also told Avraham Avinu to put his son on his bech and shechtim. No, let's do that. They're going to remove me off YouTube if I say that. Yeah, we don't. Right? In other words, some tzivuim are forever, and some tzivuim are miyad, only for that time. So maybe Bris Milah in general, or maybe Bris Milah only him and not her, for the father, not the mother. Maybe it's only back then. Maybe it doesn't apply for generations. Answers the Gemara, Tana, Ludoris Minolan. How do you know it applies for future generations to come? Tana, the Rabbi Shmuel, Kol Mokum Shneimar Tzav. The magic word is Tzav. Since it says over there, Kasher Tzivo, Tzav, to command, to say, to command, to demand, Tzav, Eino Ela Ziruz, Miyad Veladoirois, which means, when the Torah tells me the word Tzav, such as in the beginning of Parshas Tzav, Tzav is Aaron with the menorah, right? Whenever the Torah mentions specifically the verb Tzav, it's telling me two things. It comes to tell me, first of all, Ziruz, you have to do it quickly because it's a mitzvah which is difficult to do. So the Torah says, hey, off your back and quickly do that right now. And also, miyad v'ledoiros. And also, Tzav means that this is a kind of mitzvah that applies for generations to come forever and ever. How do we know? What's the source for that? Today is the day for how do we know? Ziruz, how do you know that Tzav means that you have to do it quickly with alacrity, with Rizus? Dichtiv, it says, Tzav is Yoshua, v'chazkeu v'amtzeu. It says by Yoshua, as far as I remember, we're talking here about going to war, by Dvorim, Tzav is Yoshua, to go into Eretz Israel, so do it right away. In other words, Yoshua was naturally, could have been, I wasn't saying was, many times at Yeshua, Chazak V'amot, be strong, don't be fearful. Yeshua is coming to face 7 nasty nations. Can you imagine Palestinians, Hezbollah? We are. Houthim, like today, 7 different nations all against us. Yeshua could have been scared. So Hashem says, Zoris, be quick, be with alacrity. Go for them. Don't be scared of them. Don't be scared of what the Europeans say and the Americans say. You should only be scared of what they say in Harvard. That's very choshev. I'm joking. Yeah. How do you know that it also? How do you know that the word Tzav applies for generations to come? We see a hekesh, we see a juxtaposition here between the word Tziva and Dorosechem. What's Tziva? Tzivui, Dorosechem, forever and ever, for generations to come. So now we know whenever the Torah says tzivui, it means always. And therefore, Bris Milah always applies for generations that will never ever stop. And also the details of Bris Milah, only the father is mechuyev, not the mother, that applies forever. And as I told you before, it could be there are different opinions, but I recently saw in Shulchan Aruch that the father is mechuyev to educate his son and not the mother. The mother has no chiyuv. I mean, obviously, all these nice ideas. The mother, she brings the atmosphere, all very nice, good influence. But the mitzvah, particular chinuch, making sure the son benches, making sure that he davens, making sure that he does negelvasser, it's not her tafkid. Yeah, you can tell her, honey, you're out of the job. It's okay. I'm taking care of it. That's what Mikra Din Malacha. Maybe the other opinions, but I saw Mamish Mogan Avram. Choshev the Poiskim said that. Lifdoisoi. Mitzvah number 2. Lifdoisoi is, we all know, Pidyon Haben. Yeah, after the baby is already a month old, so we know that he's halachically considered as alive, stable, meaning it's post the birth mortality, halachically. Once he's a month old, he's considered to be a Baal Kayoma, and now you have to do Pidyon Haben, and there are 5 sloim, you give the kohen 5 sloim, and then, right, and then you don't buy it back, you remove the kedusha from the baby. You remove the special kedusha b'chor from the baby, now the baby is regular kid, the b'chor, and the kohen, in return, he got his 5 sloim. Sloim is a lot of money. Minolan, how do you know? How do you know that the father is the one that has to be poida his son? Maybe the person himself, I'm not joking. Maybe the age of 15, maybe, I don't know. How do you know the father is the one that has to opinion? Minolan, how do you know? It says there in Pasha, in the Chumash Shmois, after Tzias Mitzrayim, that's the first thing after the Pasha Tzias Mitzrayim, the end of Pasha's boy. It says, the end of boy, it says, Kol B'chor Bonecho Tifdeh, look, Kol B'chor Bonecho, all the firstborn of your sons, Tifdeh, which means what? Your sons, you have to do pidyon. Okay, your sons, very nice. You have to do the pidyon. Who's your son? The father. If you say your sons, you're talking to the father, right? If the father did not do pidyon aben, unfortunately, not every Jewish person knows about pidyon aben, right? True. So therefore, the father, he didn't know. I don't know. There was no pidyon aben. He knew about Bris Milah, pidyon aben. That's something he never heard about from some odd reason. So now the son, once grown up, the son has to actually get 5 sloim, give them to the kohen, and redeem himself once his bar mitzvah. How do you know? That's in a different parsha. When the Torah tells you in Parshas Koirach, it says there, many of the 24 matnas kiuna are mentioned there. Podoi tifde, double word, podoi tifde, comes to add not only the father, also the person himself. In Parshas Koirach, alongside with the other 23 matonas, it says the person himself is committed, is obligated to do pidyon ben himself. The ihi, okay, so father and the son. Interestingly, it doesn't say Beis Din. Here, Beis Din are out of the picture because there's no source, I guess. Beis Din are not mechuyev to get 5 sloim and be poid the son. It's not mentioned here, as far as I can see. No. What about the mother? Where is the mother? The ihi minolon de lo mifkedo. How do you know that she, i.e., the mother, how do you know that she is not obligated, she's not commanded to do pidyon, to take care of her son's pidyon ben? It says, tipde tipode. It's not 2 words. The same word, as we all know, in the Torah, there are no nekudos, there are no, what you would call vowels in the Torah. So because it says tifde, it does mean that that's what's written. What's written in the Torah? Taf, pei, dalad, hey. This word has 2 ways, can be pronounced in one of 2 ways, active or passive. Tifde, you should redeem. Tipode means what? You shall be redeemed. Yeah? So it's the same word. You shall be redeemed. So, what does that have to do with the mother? Kol shemetzuve, listen to my pronunciation, please. Kol shemetzuve, whoever is committed, obligated, lifdos es atzmoi, whoever has a chiyuv to be poida himself, which is a man, mitzuva lifdos es acherim, is also mitzuva to be poida others. The kol she'ena mitzuva lifdos es atzmoi, whoever is not mitzuva to be poida himself, ena mitzuva lifdos acherim. Which means, because it's better than a hekesh. The same word has 2 different readings, and they both are co-related. Tifde, tipode are the same. I would call it, you know how to call it? two sides of the same coin. Yeah, tifde tipode, it's pronounced differently, it's written the same, and therefore a man which is mechuyav tipode to be poid himself. Let's say a guy is a firstborn, everything was born to a Chiloni family from Tel Aviv. They had no idea about Pidyon Ben, very nice people. Now he became frum, he knows about it, and now what? He wants to do Pidyon Ben. He has to do Pidyon Ben. Such a person also has a chiyuv to be poida his son. But a woman who does not have any chiyuv to be poida herself, she has no chiyuv to be poida herself if she is firstborn. Mm-hmm. So too, she has no chiyuv to be poida her first male firstborn. Yeah? In other words, now we come to a whole new question. The Gemara is now assuming that a woman herself is not mechuv to be poida herself if she's a firstborn woman. So too, she has no chiyuv towards the son. And everyone's going to say, oh, of course, a woman is a first girl, there's no pidyon habasa, feminism. Frek the Gemara, how do you know? Everything has a source. Okay, thank you. You're opening a door now to a new question. Well, how do you know? How do you know that she is really not obligated to be poida herself? How do you know that a woman is no chiyuv of pidyon habas on herself? She's now 12. Maybe she has to do her own pidyon habas because it says the tif de tipode. It's the same drosha now the other way around, passive and active. It's the same drosha the other way around. Whoever's a person whose parents, acherim here are parents, whoever's parents have to be poida him has to be poida himself. Whoever's that kind of person whose parents are not obligated to be poida him is not mechuyev to himself. In other words, we're moving one generation up, and we're saying, you know how we know that a woman does have to be poida herself when she's 20 years old, she became frum and she wants to be poida herself. You know why not? Because the parents are not mechuyev to be poida her. Again, the question is, how do you know that? You keep pushing the buck. How do you know? You get what's going on here? Let's stop a second. Don't get confused. We are talking about 3 generations. Yeah, 3 generations. Okay, that woman, let's call her Mrs. I don't know, Atias. Yeah, how do you? She's first born to her family. Yeah, from the first, she's the first girl that came out to the world from her mother's womb. We say. How do you know that she doesn't have to be poida? First of all, how do you know that a woman does that? Now that Atias woman, she has a son now. His name is something else. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Abergel. So now, how do you know that her son? She doesn't have to be poida, 3rd generation from her, yeah, 2nd from her, because she doesn't have to be poida herself. How do you know she doesn't have to be poida herself? Because her father didn't have to be poida her. Her father, Mr. Atias, never had to be poida herself. How do you know that? Yeah, we're moving up and up and up. Get me to the source of everything. How do you know a woman doesn't have pidyon ben when she was 1 month old? How do you know that others, namely the father, how do you know they're not obligated to be poida her to redeem her? It says in the Torah, now we have arrived. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Let's summarize. It says, let's now work the other way around. How do you know the women are not in pidyon ben? Because it says bonecho, not bnoisecho. Bonecho means your sons, not your daughters. Since it says you, Mr. Father, Mr. Tias, you're mechuyev to be poida your sons, not your daughters. Mimela. Wait a second. Maybe it's a separate mitzvah, and once she's an adult, she has to be poida herself. Even though there's no chiyuv as a baby on the father, maybe she as an adult has a chiyuv. We say no. We make a hekesh tifde tipode. Okay, she has no chiyuv on herself, but maybe she has a chiyuv to be poida her firstborn male baby. No. Again, tifde tipode. Whoever has no chiyuv on herself has no chiyuv on the son either. So women are out of the question in 3 different levels. Listen to this. 3 different levels. Women are out of the game. Pidyon ben. 1, a father doesn't have to be poida his daughter. Secondly, a woman as an adult does not have to be poida herself. Not. And a mother is no chiyuv to be poida her son. Even though he's male, no. So women are out of the game. And it's all learned from tifde tipode, tipode tifde. It's all one mesh together. And therefore she's out of the game. Only the men of the family have to do with pidyon. And there was a very nice idea about pidyon on Bas, which I sort of forgot. If you remember, I'll let you know. Question time. He's first actually today. Yes, Yosef, first in line. There's the Heilige Gemara. Ton Rabbanon, more on the issue of pidyon. And now we're going to talk about prioritizing. Ton Rabbanon. Who lifdois ubnoi lifdois? What happens when a person himself, he never had pidyon a ben, so now he has to do pidyon a ben for himself. Bnoi lifdois, his son also needs to have pidyon a ben. The question is, who comes first? Who kodim libnoi, says Tanakama. Tanakama says he goes first. You do pidyon a ben to yourself. Now that question has two ways. There are two ways how to read this Gemara, and the Gemara itself will elaborate. When you say who goes first, what does it mean? Does it mean he'll be the only one? Does he only have 5 sloim? Very cruel situation. And the question is it him or his son? And that's it. I don't know when will be the next time he'll gain 5 shekels. Or do we have a question of the guy has 10 shkolim, has 100 shkolim? The question is who comes first comfortably? Yeah, him first or his son first? Is it all or nothing? Or is it a question of prioritizing order one before the other? Let's see. We don't yet know. The Gemara will explain it soon. Now, says Tanakama, who kodim libnoi? The father comes before the son. Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, bnoi koidmoi. The main mitzvah is on your son before on yourself. Why? Shezeh, the father, mitzvos el aviv. Who? How is the normal mitzvah? Let me ask you, what's the normal way of doing pidyon ben? Obviously, the father on the son. So the father who's now 35 years old, yeah, he just had a baby boy, the first baby boy, yeah. Then what? Who was the real mitzvah? Who did the real mitzvah relate to? To his father when he was a baby. Now this father is dead, yeah. So now the real mitzvah was father to son. V'zeh mitzvahs b'noi olov. In other words, do it the normal way. First, be poida your son. That's the oifen. That's the tzura of the mitzvah. Poida your son, and then think of yourself. Maybe you'll do your pidyon ben later. These are the words. So again, Tanakama says the father goes first, and Rabbi Yehuda says the son goes first. What exactly does it mean practically? Omar Birmia. Rabbi Birmia is explaining everything. Hakol moidin. Everyone agrees. Both Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda, they both agree. Hakol moidin. Yeah. Amud base. Kol hecha deleka ele chamesh sloim. Let's say they only have 5 sloim, and that's about it. Just 5 sloim. They've nothing else. Very poor people. Nothing else they can sell. Yeah, bare food. Only 5 sloim. Everyone agrees. Who kodim lebnoi? He goes before his son. Why? By time. Why is that? Mitzvah de gufa yadifa. There's a concept of mitzvah de gufa. The mitzvah of himself is before the son. Yeah, take care of yourself, your own mitzvah. Then your son, right? In other words, a person has to be, as they say, Baal Musar, don't take it the wrong way. Nevodas Hashem, you have to be selfish. In other words, I have to put on tefillin myself. Don't say I'm not putting tefillin, others would. It says also in the Gemara in Shabbos, Davdala Amud Aleph, against what some people think. Today's my day of the soapbox. Yeah, you're not allowed to sin or mevatel and say so your friend does a mitzvah. Take care of your own mitzvahs and then radiate towards others. So first of all, the father has to be poida himself, and then if there is no other 5 shkolim, sorry, hopefully one day we'll become rich. Then I don't know, in 5 years' time or when you get married, another time, then the son will do it too. Keep ligi. So when did Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda argue? Here it gets very, very interesting, and we're going to see also the first Rashi. Listen to the following case. Now, I will also preface and say like this. Also preface and tell you, I'll make it easier for you. What happens if they have 10 sloim, 5 for each? Who goes first mitzad chronology, priority? The son. Why? Says the Pnei Yeshua, I saw the Pnei Yeshua this morning. There are 2 types of better or more important, yeah? More important is a big word. If there's only one set of 5 sloim, it's a cruel musical chair game, either you or me, then what? The father goes first. My chiyuv is on me before my son, yeah? But if Baruch Hashem, they have a lot of money, 5 here and 5 there, the way the mitzvah should be done, as we saw before, everyone agrees to Rabbi Yehuda in that, the son goes first. Why? Because the way to do pidyon ben, the normal way, is father over son. Do the normal mitzvah first, the accepted mitzvah first, do pidyon to your son. That's what's normal, that's what's accepted. Yeah, with all the nice tray and all the women put their tachshitim, all very nice, and then do to yourself. Yeah, that's what I meant before. There are 2 types of prioritizing. So what is the question over here? Very interesting case. Keep ligi. When do they argue Tanakam and Rabbi Yehuda? This guy has 5 sloim that are meshubad. He has pieces of land. He has a piece of land. He has a land that is worth 5 sloim and is now sold to someone else. It's sold to somebody else. Okay. and then he has another 5 sloim that are free, that are normal, that are available. Now, before we continue, let's draw a timeline. I wanted to make a chart, but I think we can manage without. If you need a chart, let me know. Let's say the father was born, 1971. I don't know what shows that number, 1971 he was born. Well, Chafei Tevis, 1971 the father was born. Okay, good. Then he sold a piece of land. When? In 1990, he sold a piece of land. Then he had the son, 1995, which means the sale of the land was between he was born. Last time I checked, most month-old baby, even today, don't sell lands, So he was first born, he became a month old, became chiyuv on himself, became bar mitzvah. When he was 20-something, he sold a piece of land worth 5 sloim. Listen carefully to the case. Then, 5 years later or so, he had a baby boy. Why are we telling all this? Because now we all know there's a concept of what? Shibud, right? If I sold someone a land in 1995, let's say, and beforehand I had shtar choiv, then the person with the shtar choiv clearly can snatch it, take it from. We learned that about times, right? A Baal choiv can go knock on the door of the buyer and say, Mr. Buyer, I'm sorry, your land is mortgaged to me before you came into the picture. I was first. We learned before in Daf Yud Gimel Amud Beis that when the Torah tells you have to pay something, it's as if it's written in the star. So when the person was a month old, and when he was bar mitzvah, and the father who was chiloni never did bris milah, didn't do pidyon ben, that commitment was created before he sold his land. Mashe'enken, the son was born after the sale. Let's see how that works in the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda thinks milved d'chsiv b'Torah, and milved it's written in the Torah, meaning when the Torah said that this guy Reuven ben Shimon the Bechor has to pay 5 sloim, it says so in the Torah in Parshas Boy, in Parshas Koirach, kiksuva b'shtar damian. It's as if when he was a baby 1 month old, the father, and he was bar mitzvah and became chayiv in pidyon ben, it's as if it's written b'shtar, and now he can do what? Listen to what he can do. Says now Rabbi Yehuda, tricky thing. Behani chamesh parik librei. Now he has 2 sloim, 2 sets of sloim. 5 sloim can be potentially snatched from the lekuchos because his commitment was before they bought the land. Excuse me, but he also has 5 sloim that are available. So listen what he's going to do. The 5 sloim that are available, parik librei. Who goes first? The son. So the 5 sloim, let's say these 5 sloim are the available, and this is not available. The available 5 sloim, he gives to the kohen. Why? For who? For the son. My son goes first. I have available 5 that were not sold. Now I remain penniless, except for the 5 sloim that are for them, that are sold to them in a shape of land, of a piece of land. The azil kohen, the coin would go. He will knock on their door and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Buyer, my name is Mr. Cohen or Mr. Gitztin or Mr. whoever, Azulai Kana, and I am the Cohen who takes care of the pidyon of that family. And now that family, once the father used the 5 available sloim for the son, now that father, he owes me 5 sloim. He owes you 5 sloim. Show me the star." You know what the star is? It's in Parshas Boy. It's in Parshas Koirach. It says that. But what do you mean? He was when he sold it to you. How old was he? He was 25. Cool. Well, when he became 13, he already had the chiyuv deoraisa to give me the 5 sloim. So I came before you guys, says the Kohen to them, right? Excuse me. Why didn't he use the 5 available ones? Because he used it for his son. The 5 available free used for his son because the son goes first. Now he remains 0 penniless, except for the 5 sloim that are in your hands in the shape of land. And my chiyuv as the father, or the father's chiyuv came before. Obviously, he didn't sell the land when he was a month old, I don't think. He sold it when he was 25, maybe. So his chiyuv came before their sale. So now we'll take it from you guys. Like every good Baal Choiv snatches away from Mishubadim. That's what Rabbi Yehuda believes. The Rabbanon. Why do Rabbanon say no? What did Rabbanon say no? Rabbanon say that the father will be poida himself, and the 5 sloim should stay by the customer, by the buyer. Why? Rabbanon savri milva d'chsiv ba'oraisa lav kiksuva b'shtar damya. Chachamim do not believe the entire concept. Chachamim say if a choiv is written in the Torah, meaning if you don't have a personal choiv in Beis Din with a star, it's a general choiv that the Torah says you have to pay someone. It's not considered like written in a star, and therefore those guys, the buyers, they will say to the Kohen, we don't have to give you anything. And therefore, the only 5 sloim that are available are the free ones, the available ones. The ones in the hands of the customers will stay in their hands because you can't take it away from them because you don't have a real star. You only have the chumash in your hand, not a star. Therefore, you only have 5 sloim. So Yilkach, back to square one, closing the circle. Mitzvah de gufe odiv. We all agree, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanan and Shulchan Aruch, by the way, that if there are only 5 sloim, the father's pointing himself. Yeah, now halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda. I saw it today. Halacha is like Chachamim. And therefore what? According to Chachamim, and that Shulchan Aruch says, the father always goes first, which means whether the 5 sloim are the only ones, or the 10 sloim, or 5 available and 5 mishubadim, always the father goes first, and that's it. And the other 5, that's it. The son, hopefully one day they'll get rich again. They'll become, they'll make it, and then they'll be able to put to the son. A few more lines and then question time. It's a bit late. There's a shorter case now. Tan Rabbanon. Another question of prioritizing. Livdus is b'noi v'lalois laregel. We all miss going laregel. I don't want to say pilgrimage. Yeah, we all want to go up to Yerushalayim. Yeah, pilgrimage and look at the priests in the temple. Yeah, we all want to do aliyah laregel and see the koyanim b'avaydosam. Do you know that this was expensive business? You think only a trip to China is expensive? You have to, right? You have to go 2 weeks there, 2 weeks back. It costs money. You think everyone gives you everything for free? You wish. No. So now there is not enough money. The father now had a baby born, let's say a few weeks before Pesach, and he's in a real dilemma. He doesn't have sufficient money to fulfill both Chamisha Sloim for the son, for the Kohen, and money, 5 or so Sloim, for the expenses of the way. He has to buy food, drinks for the old male in the family. Yeah. So now, poides b'noi, says Tanakama, first of all, poide your son, make sure your son has pidyon a ben, the new baby boy, the month old, and then if you have enough money, you go up to the regel, otherwise no. In other words, pidyon a ben pushes away aliyah la regel. Wow, why? We're going to see soon why. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, again Rabbi Yehuda argues and says no. Oila la regel, v'achakach poides b'noi, first of all, do aliyah la regel, and then redeem your son. And it gives you a very clear reason. Very, very clear. Pidyon a ben, if you didn't do it when the baby is 1 month old, don't sweat over it. You can do it when it's 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. By then you'll get 5 promotions and 10 Yerushas falling on your head. You'll be a millionaire. You'll be 1 year old. You can still do pidyon. However, aliyah regel is now or never. Aliyah regel of Pesach. If you go now, if you don't go on your donkey, get in a donkey on your Tesla and go to Yerushalayim, then what? It will not come back again. That's called mitzvah oiveres. It's a passing mitzvah. It's a mitzvah that's that won't stay here forever. And therefore, says Rabbi Yehuda, listen, I'm not philosophizing too much. Clearly, do aliyah regel now because it's now or never. The son, hopefully later you'll be able to, and if not. I frag the Gemara. Bishlam Rabbi Yehuda kedkomer taima. Rabbi Yehuda is giving us a very good reason. He's giving amazing logic to what he's saying. What's Rabbanan's reason? Why did Rabbanan learn the other way around? What did Rabbanan say? Do pidyon a ben. No, pidyon a ben. And then maybe. Why? What's the reason? Answers the Gemara, there's no reason. It's a pasuk. It says, redeem your first son. And afterwards it says, and then it says, don't show yourself in front of my face empty-handed. In other words, it's the Torah prioritized it that way. First, your son has to be podui, and then you come and see Hashem's face, whatever that means. Go to the aliyah regel. That's why. Says the I saw in some of the Rishonim. I don't know. The Rishonim say from here you learn that if not for this pasuk, Rabbanan would have agreed with Rabbi Yehuda. And the concept of mitzvah verse is true. We say the mincha and musaf, right? We say those who say to David musaf before mincha, it's mitzvah verse, yeah. Yeah, but tefillas it's like that. So conceptually, it's true. When the mitzvah, may go away soon, you do the first mitzvah first, the urgent one. And the one that can wait for later, you keep for later. Here, there's an exception. I think I know the reason. I'm being a little bit daring over here. Could be similar to the concept of not having your son oral. If somebody didn't do Bris Milah to his son, or even to his Eved, he can't eat Korban Pesach. Maybe Hashem says, first take care of your sons to be podui, and then show your face to Hashem. Your family has to be okay, has to be in its ideal state, Bris Milah, Pidyon, everything done, and then come to see Hashem. Maybe that's the idea. That's shkafic idea. Maybe, maybe not. That was just an idea that came to mind. Question, minute, thank you. Frag the Gemara. Okay. No, it's not a question. Actually, it's a statement. Tono abonon. Now we're going to learn some details about Pidyon Eben. Minayin she'im hoyu lo chamisha bonim mechamesh noshim. The man has 5 wives. Very nice. He's not an Arab. He's a Jew. And he has 5 wives. Such a bracha. Each one gave birth to a firstborn son. So how many Pidyon Ebens would we have? 1, right? How many? It's a firstborn of each woman. 5. Give me 5. Shechayv livdos kulan. Each and every boy, because he's the firstborn from the Rechem, has to have Pidyon Eben. And how do you know that? Talmud Loimar, Kol b'chor b'necha tifde. Kol b'chor b'necha tifde. Kol is a very inclusive word. Yeah, Kol, all the b'choros of your son should be poida. He can have more than one. I know such a family from England. He didn't marry 2 women in one go. He married a woman, then died or divorced. Second marriage. Yeah, and the guy told me, I have been to my brother's Pidyon Eben. Says the guy from England to me, a few times, he said it was funny. He was at his own brother's Pidyon Eben, brother from the father, not from the mother. That mother had Pidyon Eben, and that mother Pidyon Eben. It goes per mother, not per father, because of Kol B'chor B'necha. Correct the Gemara, why do you need a pasuk? Shita, bepeter rechem tolo rachmano. I already hinted to you that before. It says about Pidyon Eben, peter rechem. What's peter rechem? The one who exempted the rechem, meaning the first baby to leave the rechem as Pidyon Eben. That's why if there was miscarriage and then a baby, there's no Pidyon Eben. I also know such a case, actually. Yeah. So definitely, what do we say? Peter rechem per womb. Last time I checked, the womb's to do with women, not with the men. And therefore, why do you need a special pasuk? Answers the Gemara, genius answer. Ma de tema, I would have said, Neilaf b'chor minachla. Oh, maybe make Gzer Shova b'chor minachla. The firstborn that gets pish time, that gets double the portion, is he from the father or from the mother? Father. How do you know? Malahalan reishis oinoi. The oin is the father's ability to have children. Yeah? The reishis oinoi is the father's first son. Maybe Afkan reishis oinoi. Maybe Bepidyon Eben, the decisive factor would be the father's first son. Kamash Malan. Let me ask you a question. Isn't that crazy what I just said? Doesn't make sense. We just said that it's Peter Rechem. So how would there be Hava when it's the father? Right? We said, no, it doesn't matter. It says the mother, Rechem, which is womb, uterus. No, I would have said, no, it's up to the father, Reishis Oinoi. How could that be? Very easy answer. Hava min would be, you need both. Very good. Hava min would be, you know which firstborn is the one that deserves, so to speak, Pidyon Eben? A real B'chor. His first and her first. Havamina. Yeah, but let's say it is his first, yeah, and her third. There are men who marry a woman with 2 children, that could be, right? Or the other way around. Maybe then you don't do Pidyon Eben, right? And Chinami, you don't, Kamash Malan, that because, or let's say it's his first, yeah, it's his first and her not first, or vice versa, no Pidyon Eben. Maybe it has to be both the father's first and her first, and only then the Pidyon Eben. Kamash Malan know that we don't care b'chlal about the father, we only care about the mother. In other words, if a guy married 5 wives, let's say one after the other, all together, I don't know, yeah? The guy got divorced 5 times. Nice guy, he's a Hollywood star. He had to get divorced every other day. So now his 5th wife, yeah, what about her? It's her first baby, and it's his 5th. Yes, there's Pidyon Eben. Meaning it only goes by the mother and not at all by the father. That's the idea. Obviously, his son, yeah? But it has to be his first son. That's a chiddush. That I didn't know. That's Kamash Malan. Kol, even though you may have children from the mother who are not your first, but her first, you still do Pidyon Eben. For that, I need an extra pasuk. Lelamdo toiro. Okay, yes, okay. Chor getting double is only the father. It says oinoi. Chor for the double before oinoi, and that's actually before in the Torah. The man has two wives, the one that he hates, the one that he loves. The one that he hates had the firstborn. Unlucky you. The one which you don't like, you have to give double, and not the one which you like better, because it goes only by the father, not by the mother. Now, lelamdoi toiro minolan. Oh, how do you know that you have to teach your son toiro? Dichtiv v'limadetem oisom es bnechem. Oh, right. We say that all the time. We say this every day. V'limadetem oisom es bnechem. Very nice. You should teach Torah to your sons. If the father, it's not a question really, it's more like a statement. If the father loy agmere, the father never taught him Torah for whichever reason, he thought it's very important, he should learn Icelandic philosophy, not Torah. Michayev iul migma nafshe. He himself has a chiyuv to teach himself. How do you know? Dichtiv ve'limadtem. Ve'lemaisa, there's another pasuk says Rashi. There's another pasuk ve'lemadetem. You should learn Torah. Yeah, he doesn't say it in the Torah but Rashi does say ve'lemadetem. There's another pasuk here. I'll show you in Rashi. I wonder whether they don't write it here. Yeah, it says. Yeah, krachinu ve'lemadetem oisom shmartem la'soisom. In Dvorim Hey it says ulmadetem oisom. You should learn the Torah. So, by the way, you should know that I saw in there's a sefer about the importance of learning Torah, but the Talmud of the Gro, the Greek Haver, he brings literally tens, if not hundreds, of sources from all over the Torah that there are many, many, many mitzvos in limud the Torah. To learn Torah, there's 2 or 3 places it's mefurash, v'shinatem v'lemadetem here, v'lemadetem, v'limadetem, and also there are many, many other sources. If you look at Tanakh, there are many, many sources, because learning Torah is the number 1 mitzvah. It's above all other mitzvahs in machshava. Now, in practice. Now, okay, just continue 1 second. Okay, we're going to talk about a woman tomorrow. So we're holding basically in the middle of the sugya with a question: how do you know a woman is not mechuyev to teach her son Torah? Thank you, Atzlocho Brocho. May we steig in Torah and realize we came to this world to learn Torah and be close to Hashem. That's the purpose and nothing but that. Slocha, Brocha, good day. May we win the war right away with the swords of Torah. Yeah, Shkoyach and Atzlocha. Thank you.